From the time I was a child until my mid-20s, if I made a mistake, I would feel so embarrassed and ashamed. I would obsess beating myself up into a depressive state. How could I be so stupid? How can I make this right? My anxiety would just completely run the show as my self-esteem faded into the background. And if I thought someone was even just the least bit upset with me, it would eat me up alive. I'd go above and beyond to try to correct my mistakes, sometimes putting my self-worth at the mercy of others, hoping their forgiveness or acceptance would make me feel better. Through lots of self-discovery and personal development, I've improved my outlook on mistakes, and I want to help you do the same. Hi, I'm Eleanor, a life coach on a mission to help people love themselves better, and today, I'm going to share how to defeat that self-deprecating pattern that you experience after making a mistake. For me, the reason I was so hard on myself is because I never got this one message, which I think we all really need to keep close to heart. You are not your mistakes, so don't internalize them. Yes, you make mistakes, and you do make poor choices from time to time, but we all do. It's a part of the human experience. We are perfectly imperfect, so expecting to get everything right, it's quite unfair to yourself as a human being. You can be a good person and make a terrible choice or mistake. Life is not so black and white, but when we carry our mistakes around like baggage, constantly reminding ourselves of how much we believe we suck or how bad of a person we believe ourselves to be, we are saying to ourselves, to God and the universe, that we are unworthy of a good life. And quite frankly, that's just not true. Here's the truth. Mistakes are necessary for us to improve. Could you actually imagine yourself if you did everything perfectly from the time you were born? Your ego would be so big that you would have no empathy, no compassion for anyone else. Making mistakes forces you to see your own humanity, which then makes it more identifiable in others. So the next time you make a mistake, instead of lording it over your own head, dig deep, get to the root of the issue. Why do you think you did what you did? Once you uncover the root of your behavior, you unlock a deeper level of self-awareness. And when you understand your triggers, well, then you can avoid repeating patterns and choose a different approach. But if you never ease up off yourself, then you don't give yourself the chance to grow. Here's another thing about mistakes. We think we're the only ones who make them. And society wants you to believe that too, because ego, it loves separation and judgment. Separation weakens humanity and lets people believe that they're better than others. This is why cancel culture is so toxic. Because as soon as someone makes a mistake or a poor choice, we crucify them in the court of public opinion as if everyone else is just so perfect. I don't know about you, but I know I'm not perfect. This is exactly why I want you to remember that making a mistake does not make you less than anyone else. When a person is wrong, of course they should apologize and try to make amends, but constantly throwing someone's mistake in their face and trying to shame them, that doesn't help anyone grow. We are all the same in the eyes of God, and we all have lessons to learn. This mistake, it's one of your life lessons, but that doesn't mean that you're worth less than anyone else, and no one should make you feel otherwise. If you find yourself surrounded by people who only want to bring you down by constantly mentioning your failures, I highly suggest you find another circle. My last tip is this. If you really want to learn to take your mistakes in stride, then you've got to follow the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated, and by others, I also mean you. Treat yourself how you want to be treated by others. The world reflects what you believe. If you don't believe you're worthy of grace, you won't give that to others. If you judge yourself harshly, you'll judge others harshly. And when you finally make that mistake, well, guess what? They're going to show you the same judgment you showed them. The mistakes in my life that have hurt the most taught me the most. I like to think about it like this. What is the sun without the moon? You can't appreciate light without darkness, hills without valleys. Your destiny, your growth, it's on the other side of this valley. So keep your eyes forward. Keep walking in your purpose, even when you make a mistake. So I started reading the Bible last year for the first time in my life, even though I grew up in the church. And I'll get into that in another video, but what I found most fascinating since I started reading the Bible is that most people have this misconception that God can only use us if we're perfect. But it's actually quite the opposite. My favorite part of reading the Bible actually has been the fact that literally everyone in the Bible either comes from a dysfunctional family, has insecurities, or messes up in some way, yet they are still a part of a greater plan. So don't give up on yourself because you're in a tough spot. As Maya Angelou says, every storm runs out of rain. How have you dealt with your mistakes? I'd love to hear your stories, and I want you to share any tips that you found helpful along your journey in the comments. As always, please share this video with anyone you love or anybody you think could benefit. We all need help along the way. Until next time, be well.